Hey everyone, welcome to Sideshow's First Look. Today we'll be taking a look at the Captain America 6-scale figure from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The box is a slipcover design. The front and sides are dominated by a gray concrete background overlaid with a portrait of Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Removing the slipcover gives us a quick tease of the Captain America figure through a window cut into the deep red box. And spinning that box around to the back reveals some attractive graphics representing the iconic shield in flight. Opening the box reveals the figure and its accessories in two plastic clamshells. There's the Captain America figure in the center of the first tray. Flanking him at the top, you'll see the shield, as well as Red Wing. Running down the sides of the figure is the assortment of swap-out hands. And here at the bottom, you can see the back mount for the shield, the mount for the wings, and some extra wrist pegs. The second tray is dominated by the massive wings. You can also see the decorative display base peeking out from between them, as well as a dynamic flight stand for the Captain America figure and a smaller dynamic flight stand for Red Wing. Additionally, taped to the side of the first clamshell, you'll find a set of detailed instructions. Pulling the figure and its accessories out of the trays and laying everything on the table, we start to get a sense of just how impressive this figure will be once it's fully assembled. There's Captain America, now standing on his base. Flanking him are the massive wings, with the elements for both dynamic flight stands there on the table in front of him. On the right, you can see the shield, as well as Red Wing, and mounts for both the shield and for the wings that will allow them to be attached to the back. On the left, you can see the assortment of additional hands, including a pair of fists, a pair of gripping hands, and a pair of gesturing hands. Now to take a closer look at the figure itself. The portrait of Anthony Mackie is rendered in exacting detail with a paint job to match. The skin tones flow realistically into the close-cropped hair, and the translucent red of the goggles allows you to readily appreciate the fine details of the eyes beneath them. The mixed media panels of the costume leap out at you in the character's signature red, white, and blue livery. Much of the costume is fabric, but there are quite a few faux leather and soft plastic panels interspersed throughout. Additionally, the cuirass, pauldrons, belt, vambraces, knee pads, and greaves are all sculpted in various plastics, as is the backpack. Taking a look at the articulation of the figure, we find the head rests on a double ball-jointed neck and will rotate as much as is reasonable. 45 degrees is the magic number for the rest of its movement, as it will hit that degree looking down, up, and when tilting to either side. The shoulders will dip, press, and row. And they'll also raise the arms laterally just shy of 90 degrees. The arms will also give about 90 degrees of anterior lift. And about 45 degrees of posterior lift. The double-jointed elbows will allow about 110 degrees of flex at the bicep. And the expected pivot joint above the bicep area will allow the arm to rotate there. The torso will allow for about 30 degrees of abdominal crunch, with a little bit more than that in extension. There's about 15 degrees of lateral crunch, and a little more than 30 degrees of twist. Each leg will lift laterally about 40 degrees. There's also about 45 degrees of anterior lift, and about 15 degrees of posterior lift. The double joints at the knees will allow for about 120 degrees of flex, and the usual joint at the thigh will allow for some rotation there. Finally, the feet will pivot at the ankle, and will flex to the front, to the back, and from side to side. The wings are also highly articulated. 3 intricate pivot joints will enable you to simulate flexion, creating a gentle C-curve when fully implemented. This secondary region can also swivel about 45 degrees. Additionally, a pivot point at this center joint will allow the wings to be bent along their plane. And the pinions on the trailing edge of the wings are individually articulated at the armature, allowing you to fill in any gaps created by that motion. Now let's take a closer look at the implementation of some of the accessories. To pose Cap with the shield in hand, start by wrapping the gripping hand of your choice around the smaller strap like so. Then feed the arm through the larger diameter strap and attach the gripping hand to the wrist peg, completing the look. To mount the shield to the figure's back, start by plugging the shield mount into this exhaust port in the wing housing. Then, with one of the straps removed from the shield, you'll be able to attach the shield to that mount using the base component of the wrist strap. Attaching the wings to the figure is a multi-step process. Start by removing these 3 components from the wing housing on Cap's back. With those out of the way, you can then attach the included mount for the wings. With that done, replace the center component for the housing. And finally, you can then attach each wing to the corresponding ball joint on the mount. This has been Sideshow's first look at the Captain America 6-scale figure from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. For more information about this figure, or to place an order, follow the link below. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to let your geek side show.